What's going on, guys? It's Johnny Raxa here with Introverted Intellect. Today we have a very special guest, David Raxa. Yes, Raxa. He is my younger brother, considered the middle child of the family. And today we go into things like who he is and his creativity and being a younger sibling and how he's able to cope with that under the shadows of his older brothers, such as I. And most importantly, his introvertedness and how he's able to use his creativity with his introvertedness and the conversations he has with people, how he overcomes certain insecurities and how he's able to distinguish himself as a person, and yada yada yada. It's a very interesting interview. I want to apologize for all the hiccups that we've had throughout the podcast with the distractions. I'm very, very sorry. I need to do better and I will do better. But to have authenticity to my podcast, I'm just going to leave all that in there because we are not going to go through another interview with him, even though we are definitely a part two will definitely be in the works, but I'm not going to go through the same exact thing as I did before just with him in the middle of our podcast. And I'm rambling way too much about this. I'm sorry. With that said, thank you and welcome to the interview, the awkward interview with my brother and I, David Raxa.
Welcome to
Johnny Raxa, Introverted Intellect.
What's going on, guys? It's Johnny Raxa here with Introverted Intellect. And today I have a very, 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 very not so special guest. I actually don't know why he's here. Just kidding. He's actually a very creative mind. A very, very awkward guy for some reason is around me particularly. I think because he's probably intimidated by me. No, I'm just kidding. But he is an extreme introvert. And after weeks and weeks of begging and asking, finally, he's decided to do a stinking podcast interview with me. So I want to ask you, Mr. Raxa, how you doing?
That was some introduction right there, man.
That wasn't introduction. That was definitely. Hold on, I got sound effects. It's Mr. Raxa. It's Mr. Raxa. David Raxa. Yes, he has a last name Raxa. He is unfortunately one of my younger brothers, David Raxa. And I am decided to interview him today because first and foremost, he is a very, very creative individual. Can you tell us what you do for creative outlets, first and foremost? Like starting with your rap, for instance, and drawings and whatnot. What do you do as a creative outlet for yourself? Just introduce yourself and who are you?
All right, so my name is David Raxa. I'm a sophomore student at San Francisco State University. And what I do for my creative outlets, I like to do like a ton of stuff because a lot of times I get really bored with like almost everything I do. So I always got to like refresh my mind by doing either making music, rapping, or just drawing, doodling all together. What else? I do play a lot of video games. And on top of all of this, like I'm actually a computer science major, which is like super like
that. You know what? I was actually going to ask you about that, particularly because you are a computer science major. Computer science entails, of course, I can see on your board right there, it says calculus. It has a lot of logic to it, a lot of logic that requires a certain way of thinking, right? And there's a creative outlet and there's a logical outlet. So I want to ask you, how do you balance that? How do you balance the fact that you have a creative side of you and also a logical side of you? And like, if one in particular might override the other, or maybe you find a way to mix the two together, like how do you go about doing that? Is there a certain thing you do or what?
So I have two modes. First, my creative, do whatever mode, make videos, make music, make drawings, etc., etc. And then I have my school serious mode, and that's when like I really got to be in those situations, like these certain days I just go straight, in my little hole, kind of like now or something. I'm just gonna keep studying, and just get into that mindset every time.
It takes some time to get into like a logical mindset after.
Oh yeah, definitely, because you really need to be in that mindset, especially when you have two different two different modes,
Yeah.
which it does. It it does kind of like change the way like it's like a big like shift, like a kind of like a personality shift, because you're switching between your serious mode from your playful mode, your creative, stuff
Uh-huh.
like that, sarcastic. So it's definitely like a
Well, you
big
can also
shift.
say that you could put your creativity into your logic side. For instance, I know that for me, I was a computer science major as well. And when you need to solve certain issues, would you agree with the statement that you need to put in as much creativity into the logic, and vice versa too? Will you put logic into your creativity? So your creative side makes, so does that make sense? Is that it's like basically you can intertwine each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You could
if
put
you
it
want to solve
together.
something in a certain way,
Yeah.
using that creative mind into a logic thing, you discover new problems, you discover new methods to
Yeah.
get it done. So
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
agree with what you're saying.
All right. Now, another question I want to ask is, what goes through your mind a lot? I mean, you are an introvert, and this is an introvert podcast, right? And like, you're creative, right? You're a creative introvert, So you might have a cool idea. You might have some idea that pops in your head about something. What do you normally do about it? Do you tell somebody? Do you write it down, or what? Like, how do you go about with that process? You know what I'm saying?
Say that again.
Like, if you had like an idea about something, like, oh, that's something cool I can draw, or that, oh, that's like a cool lyric I can put down, or like, what do you do? Like, say you have a idea for a song. I know you have ideas for songs. Like, what did you do exactly to express it? How do you figure out how to, like, do you write it down, for instance, or do you tell somebody? Like, what do you do?
See, honestly, I just tell somebody.
You tell
Like
anybody?
I tell my like my closest friends, my closer friends. Like I
Yeah,
tell my
yeah.
roommate all
Mm-hmm.
my rants like all the time, or I text one of my other friends, like it's like 3 a.m. and I have like
Yeah,
this big epiphanies, and I
yeah.
just like test them and they're like, hey man, I got a rant, I got to see all this stuff. I'm
That's
like,
always
oh,
a good. I had a podcast before where I told. Well, actually, I don't know if I did, but I did write in my book that we need to tell people certain things right away, and it's good to have people to talk to. I guess I can go into that. Who do you go to talk to the most then? Who do you go to? Who do you run to if you need to say something about certain issues or what you're going through or any idea, creative idea you have? Who do you go to?
um, just my closest friends, or my people, the people who know me the most. Like my friend back home that I tell like almost everything to,
Mm-hmm.
or there's some people I met here, and sometimes they even tell you some stuff that that's really deep. So
So
yeah,
you
just
go
like
to certain people for certain things, basically.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
like one like, and sometimes for certain subjects I tell different people, like
Yeah. Yeah.
so
So, is there somebody like in general that you tell things to though? I'm assuming your roommate, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
My roommate and one of my best friend back home. So
Mm,
you know,
okay. I'll go with
usually
childhood.
I don't. Yeah, it's all about the certain subjects. I mean, there's only one friend really that I tell like everything to, but like on certain subjects, like if I want to talk about anime to somebody, I'm gonna tell it to,
You're
you
not gonna
know,
tell somebody who doesn't like anime.
yeah,
You
exactly.
wouldn't
So
tell me.
I ain't gonna tell you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I might
Yeah. Because anime's
watch
stupid.
yourself.
Just kidding. Just kidding. I like anime too. Certain ones. All
Oh
right. So
wow.
next, I'm gonna ask you next. Now, so I asked this question here about creativity. For some reason, I kind of equated the people who are very creative are oftentimes messy people. I know for a fact that you are one of the messiest people that I know. Is this true or false?
Um, no comment.
Yeah, you are messy.
No, dude.
You are
I
messy. I don't
mean,
want to go into detail how messy you are, but let's just say that I probably got sick. Once a year I get sick, and it was probably the times I came back home to visit you and went into your room, and I got sick
dude,
from the room. from all that stuff. I don't. That's not. I
I
can't
don't know
even.
what you're talking
I don't
about,
know,
dude. Just
man. I
you
don't
ain't got no
know.
proof. I don't know what you're talking about, dude. I was younger back then. I'm older now,
Oh
so
gosh, dude. All right. Um, how about that? I that's another thing I want to ask too. Is I'm kind of analyzing, looking at your room right now, and I see there's post-its up there. I think it's ridiculous. I'm
oh,
just
these
kidding. I did
post-its
the same
over.
thing. So you stole my idea of the post-its, and I want to know exactly. You don't have to show us, please. It's kind of dark in there. If you can move back a
Yeah.
little bit, but it's not like we want to see your face anyways. I'm just kidding. The post-its. What is first of all? What's the inspiration behind it? Why did you do it? And what quotes or text you have up there that's just so special that you put up there?
Well, I've always had this thing with like because we are just say like I'm like really short, 5'4", so like it's really it's like a little message of all these post-it notes for like for self-determination, and the quotes like your only limit is yourself,
Mm-hmm.
or by this one's by Mae West, if you only live once, but if you do it right, once is enough. And just like other quotes, just like for self-determination, just like, and this one right here says hope, because like there's always something that is holding us back. Like there's always, and like, oh, we don't have the qualities for that position, we don't have the right stuff to do that thing. So the sticky note thing is just telling me like, or just telling everybody that like, just keep trying, just keep persevering, keep that determination up, and then show them like what you got, give them your everything.
Mm-hmm.
Because like just now, like, I'm like, oh, I'm 5'4", and I feel like I don't have enough. And that's why we have to use that to show them to like, hey, we can show you what's up, So I'm really big on the underdog story. That's kind of why I put that up too. So it's just like inspiration to myself.
Deep.
I like it, man. Hey, you put it up first
Deep.
though. So
All right. Well, I want to ask too. Like you said, you're 5'4". Is that a source of insecurity for you?
oh yeah, especially nowadays.
Being short,
Yeah, it used to be being small or like scrawny.
scrawny. You were like one. You are probably the scrawniest brother. Yeah. No,
Okay.
just kidding. You're probably gonna get fat soon. So
No,
no,
dude,
yeah.
never gonna happen.
Freshman 25, dude. This ain't no freshman 15 anymore. It's more like freshman 40 these days.
I'm a sophomore
People
now,
studying so
so
much. Why did you choose computer science anyways? That's another question I like to ask.
honestly, it was. I'm not gonna lie if I say it wasn't for the money, because that's a logical thing, and I really want to do web development and web design because
Yeah.
that's like more creative and it's not as logical.
You do. There is a creativity aspect to web development design and whatnot. So yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah,
And people are enticed by the money.
and computer science is like the credentials,
Yeah.
basically to get that thing. So
Yeah. The jobs and whatnot.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, you are my brother, and you are considered technically the middle child, because of course Daniel and I are considered basically the oldest. Justin's the youngest, hands down. Obviously, you're basically the middle child. I'm just gonna say that right now. You are basically the legitimate middle child. I want to ask you two questions. First of all, the first question is, how was it like growing up as the middle child? Like, what did you feel throughout going through that process? And second, was there any kind of competition you felt growing up with any of your brothers? Was there competition, inspiration, encouragement? Tell us about that.
I guess I don't know. As a middle child, well, with Daniel, my other older brother being like the sports guy and everyone knowing him, I guess there was kind of like a bar I had to reach
You felt
in
like
high
that.
school. Yeah, in my first couple years, stuff like that. I like his friends. No, my friends kind of knew his. My friends knew him a lot, like
Yeah.
really idolized him.
Yeah.
So like I definitely had to like show them a bit, and sometimes it didn't really happen. Sometimes like they really did like me, but it was kind of hard in a way, but it wasn't so bad,
One thing I know about people with older siblings is that, yeah, it's true. Actually, the older sibling tends to be looked up by the friends of the younger sibling. And because when I grew up in high school, a lot of the I was friends with the younger siblings, and the older siblings always had this reputation, right? So they were scared and like respected the older siblings all the time. And then there was the younger one who's like, gets to live off the fame and glory. Do you think maybe you had more friends and more popularity because of that? Because I know that the younger siblings from the older ones, they definitely had a lot more popularity. Like, oh, he's brothers with this guy and this guy, and all of a sudden, like they get the younger sibling gets respect. Do you think you had that growing up in
Oh
high
yeah,
school?
yeah,
Middle
yeah,
school?
yeah. Oh
So
yeah,
you lived
definitely.
off that shadow.
No.
No,
Well,
I
I
mean
mean,
like okay, so I mean my shadow is like you lived off the glory of him. And it worked
yeah,
to your benefit.
yeah. It did work out
Yeah.
pretty well with
There's a long ongoing debate that the younger siblings have it the best because they learn from they learn from the older siblings. They get the respect and glory of the older siblings, and the I don't know, and they get taught by it's basically to learn everything from the older sibling, everything. Even mom, she's treated me probably the worst aside from Justin in terms of no, I'm sorry, not even then. She spanked me the most, and then as she went down the line, she stopped completely at Justin. So you had probably one of the least of it. So as parents go through each child, they kind of like let loose, or not let loose, they let go of the discipline of each child. I kind of see it. I don't know. Do you feel like you got disciplined a lot by mom?
not really, I guess. Maybe not in senior year, but the years before, kind of.
Yeah. All right.
No,
Well,
no,
I don't know
I
what
guess
went
not as
down.
much.
I wasn't even there most of the time.
Yeah, you're never there. So, I mean,
Well, no, I mean I wasn't there because I was at college. For 7 years while you were growing up. Okay, I want to go back to something actually really important. I kind of forgot the question though. Okay. Given that, let's say you live kind of when I said under the shadow of your brothers, me and Daniel, how do
yeah,
you distinguish yourself unique? Like, how do you distinguish yourself? How do you make yourself unique? Does that make sense?
yeah. Um, so I grew up playing sports, just like Daniel. Um, and people kind of knew me too, so they kind of saw me as like a sporty guy.
Yeah.
So how I definitely distinguished myself was um like the things that are unique to me, which is anime, really big in the anime and stuff
Okay,
like
so
that.
your
And
interests.
my interest, and I made friends with people that my brother would never had made friends with in high school, which was like the kind of nerdy kids and stuff. I
Okay,
won't
so
say
you were
like
basically a nerd.
more introverted. I mean, I played no, because I played sports too. So, I mean, it
Dude,
wasn't
no, just
like, dude,
you're a nerd. That's just no,
no,
just kidding.
not, dude.
Okay. All right, so basically you're saying okay, so what I'm seeing is that you're a mixture between the cool jock kind of guy and the nerdy type of guy, which I mean, use
Yeah,
that term loosely. We're saying like the certain type of people, right? We're not trying to make fun of nerds or jocks or whatever. We're
yeah,
basically just saying that you like Daniel had like really like all the jocks, it's the typical term for jocks, right? As friends, right?
yeah,
The cool jocks, and you were kind of in between. Am I right?
yeah,
Is that what you're saying?
yeah.
Okay.
And the people who played sports
Okay.
was kind of because Daniel knew them too,
Yeah.
in a way. So
Right.
it's kind of like that.
You
So
diversed yourself a little bit more. And I mean, that is a unique. You kind of have a unique quality in that sense that you are kind of well-rounded in that you're well-rounded. I was not a sports guy, and Daniel was, and you're kind of the embodiment of both of those, which
Yeah.
makes it like it still makes you unique in a sense that, but I think that, let's say for instance, I mean, if Daniel was like a closet like anime
Oh yeah.
lover, right?
Oh
So
yeah.
would you say you're like, he was ashamed of it, and would you say you're kind of like, were you pretty open about that, like the fact that you like these kind of things, you didn't care about what people thought about you?
Honestly, no, I was not. I was just like Daniel. I was pretty shameful about it.
You were
My
shameful
first,
about liking
my
something? Yeah.
yeah, my first 3 years, and my senior year is when I definitely broke out my shell. Just let myself go. Just like do
Yeah.
what I want because it's like who
Yeah.
cares. Because yeah, I'm not gonna see them or like if they don't like my interest, why even
Yeah.
bother? So yeah, I was definitely in the beginning. I was pretty worried of what people would say about it.
Yeah.
But as time moved on, I definitely got way used to it.
Yeah.
And like, if you see my room now, I mean, you've seen this, like anime posters everywhere and
Yeah.
stuff like
Yeah.
that. So, I mean, and it's not just about interest too. It's all about personality. Just the people who you're friends with,
Yeah.
and if they're accepting of it or not. I mean, I think that's such a bigger deal than your interest, because I know people with the same interest as me, and then like they're like super negative and stuff like that, and they watch
Yeah.
anime too. So I mean, definitely the personality, if they accept it or not.
Yeah.
So yeah, just finding the right friends who are open to that altogether.
Yeah. When you talk to somebody, for instance, let's make it specific, like new, somebody that you never met, like how do you approach that conversation? What's your mind? What's going through your mind?
Well, it's a lot easier to talk to somebody else who is extroverted, because when you introduce yourself or where they introduce themselves, it's a lot easier to talk to them because they have a lot more to talk about. And as an introvert, we can just listen and
Yes.
like ask more questions,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they can answer more. But if I want to approach someone who's like who it looks like um, they are like really, 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 what's the word? I want to say uptight, but like holding themselves together. Like, it's a lot harder because there's not much to talk about. But I would just say, "Hey, I haven't met you before, and what was your name?" and stuff like that. And really, we gotta have that like a common interest, especially in what we're doing. Like, we're like
Yes.
playing a sport or something. Just like doing something like that, or talking about that. Oh, we go to same school. Oh, you go to same school, stuff like that. So it's definitely, having a lot of small talk definitely works when you approach your conversations. But honestly, in my opinion, it's kind of harder for me because like sometimes we aren't doing anything. Because for me, I like to let my actions speak for my words.
Yeah.
Like, so I like to do what we're doing, and then we can just like kind of communicate through that. So like,
Yeah.
like I said, playing sports, or like doing a club project or something like that. Definitely like stuff like that. But and it's also kind of easy to talk with people who are also in a way introverted, because or like not introverted, but like I would say kind of really shy, because I feel like it's easier to like take I don't want to sound too aggressive, but like take control of the conversation, because if they're shy and they're shy to talk to you, then I think it's kind of easier to gradually bring them out of the shell than it is with someone who's like really held together and like kind of like
So somebody who is shy and awkward, you say, is easier to talk with.
it's kind of easier because we're kind of on this like, hey, it's kind of like, hey, I've been there before too.
Okay, so
So
you're
let me
saying you're
talk
on the
to
same
you.
plane, like the
Yeah.
same playing field.
Yeah.
Do you come off as somebody who is extroverted when you meet somebody, or do you just remain chill and like, do you go on their level?
I think I go on their level
Yeah.
a lot more, because we have that, like you said, same plan. We have that same experience of
Yeah.
like being really like quiet,
Yeah.
and yeah. So I think
Mm.
something like that.
Yeah, I find that talking with people who are in the same level as me, introverted, it's a little easier because extroverts, in a way, it is easy with them too because they like to talk and talk and talk, and like you let them know while talking. Introverts, you just kind of get them, you kind of understand them, and you go
Yeah,
with yeah,
like we had a group project for one of my classes.
yeah,
My whole group is like doesn't say anything. Like we're all really quiet.
yeah,
So like someone's gonna step up there. Someone's got to step up there.
yeah,
So I just like bring up something like, hey, how you guys doing, stuff like that.
yeah,
Because if we're all introverts, someone's got to
yeah,
step
yeah,
up. But I have this club, and there's this guy who's really talkative,
yeah,
and we're all in a group, and he talks a lot. He talks the most, and I just say like absolutely almost nothing. Like,
yeah,
I get super introverted.
yeah,
He's the one that's taking the control
yeah.
of the whole thing.
That
And when I
yeah,
said it's easier to talk to extroverts, I mean like in a one-on-one conversation, not
uh-huh.
like in a group.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Oh, I totally get it. Like speaking of extroverts, in a group, extroverts tend to take over in the conversation. In a group for sure, and in a one-on-one setting, you can just listen and engage with them on a one-on-one basis, which makes it easier because they're the one talking. But when you're in a
yeah,
big group, it's kind of intimidating in a way, and you can't really speak up, right?
yeah.
But okay, all right. Now I just want to move on. Another question here. How do you think being alone enhances your creativity? Like when you are in solitude, do you tend to feel like you're more creative as an
Definitely.
introvert? Yeah.
Yes. Um, I don't know why this is like. I don't know the cause of it, but definitely being alone, you have your ideas, no one to like shoot them down. I guess
Hmm.
I don't really know. And maybe talking to someone who like embraces or are open to what you're saying, but
Yeah.
like I think definitely being alone, like you're in your thoughts a lot more, so you like more ideas to come out. Um, and like I said, talking to that one person about all your ideas and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But yeah, I think being alone definitely does enhance it a lot. So
That's good. Yeah, I noticed that for me, when I am alone, I tend to have the best ideas because when you're around people, your mind is like all over the place. It's like, oh, this talking, we got to talk, we got to say something, we got to give ideas to somebody else, we got to listen to this person, we listen to this, and your mind gets exhausted. But as introverts, we sit down in solitude, and all of a sudden, we start to gain the energy, and then we just get these ideas that pop in our head. I think the best ideas I usually get is usually when I'm working out, because not only is my brain active, I'm also in solitude by myself. And I know you work out
same.
too. Do you find that you get ideas during workout sessions?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
when I work out
yeah,
or like even after, I'm like walking to my apartment, like, whoa,
yeah,
I got
yeah,
this big
yeah.
idea.
Exactly.
And
I think that goes for a lot of people though, not extroverts and introverts alike. But it's just something to note for people who are creative, who are honestly constantly thinking about new ideas, people who are constantly trying to grow. Usually, solitude and your ability to let your mind kind of rest and like let it think for itself, rather than have to do work for other people around you by talking and like listening, you get better ideas on your own. And so we're coming to the end of the podcast here, this interview. And I just want to ask the last question. This podcast has two kind of themes to it. There's the tips and tricks for introverts and how to get yourself out there to communicate with people more. And there's one with which we kind of already went through, how if you're creative outlets and how you go about being creative and also logical at the same time. And also, how do you manage being a middle child as and being an introvert in that sense. The last question I want to ask is what wise words, say that really fast, what wise words of wisdom do you have for people if you can get one? I know you're young. I know you're only like what, 15? No,
no,
just
dude,
kidding.
19.
Yeah, 19 years old. I was
Like,
about to say 18. I totally said your age.
jeez.
You're only 19, but regardless, 19 years of living, you still have gained some wisdom in your life. And I want to ask, what kind of wisdom do you have for anybody or for younger people? If you can give one, just anything that you would have to say some piece of advice that you want to give, for people out there?
I guess something, I think I said this before, but really that self-determination. Just really, if you really want something, it's like you really got to go at it. Like there's this quote that I made a long time ago. I think it was in a video game, like in the credits you can make your own quote, and it says, lose, lose, and lose some more, but give it one more go. And I don't know, that quote really like resonates because, I keep failing, but just give it one more shot, and then you're gonna get it. Just really, really get that big thing, that big idea, and that big,
Yeah. All right.
So yeah,
Lose some more. I like
give it one more go.
All right. Well, thank you, David, younger brother. I think
Thank
Andy's
you.
gonna get awkward now. Yeah, thank you for just coming on this podcast first and foremost after many asks, and finally got to push you. I feel like it'd be hard because a lot of introverts and a lot of people who are relatively shy are gonna have a hard time trying to talk. But I'm glad that and thankful that you took the opportunity to do this. Thank you for your tips and tricks and the wisdom that you shared with us. And I hope that, as you continue to go about life, you really do, I really do feel like you have you're really creative. So I feel that, you can use this as a huge potential for your life for sure. And I'm just thankful that you are like my brother, and that you kind of teach Daniel and teach all the rest of the guys, that it's that it's like creativity is a really important thing, and like having that outlet. And I think you show us,
dude.
Sorry,
I might be lagging. I think I'm lagging right now. I can't really see your face. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, dude. Okay. Dude, this has gone downhill.
Dude.
This went downhill. I'm still gonna keep this in though. But yeah, anyways, I don't know where I was getting with that creativity part. I mean, I think you inspire me for sure. All right. I lost you, dude. All right. Well, we're going to end it, guys. Thank you guys for joining us. This is Johnny Raxa with Introverted Intellect. Sorry for all the ups and downs here in the podcast. I know that we didn't do the best and most professional manner possible, but we did what we could. And I'm really thankful that I have a brother like my brother David. And stay tuned for more. And please, once again, subscribe and follow me on social media. Links in the description below. Oh, there you go. All right. I'm already ending it, so I'll talk to you later. All right? I'll talk to you later about other plans we got. All right.
Okay, wait. Is the podcast still going?
It is.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's ending now. All right, guys. Introverted Intellect, Johnny Raxa. Peace.
See you guys.
We are what you make, yeah.